On May 20th, Zack Snyder revealed that the Snyder Cut of Justice League is due for release in 2021, and fans around the world rejoiced. Rightfully so, because in many ways, this is a victory for fans of genre cinema everywhere, whether they're partial to DC on film or not. Another filmmaker must have recognized the significance of this, for he expressed his desire to release another version of a notorious movie he made. Paul Feig wants to release the FeygerCut of Ghostbusters 2016. In this video, I'll first take on the most pressuring question everyone should be asking, namely, is he for real? Then I'll assess whether or not a FeygerCut really exists, and if one does, what, on behalf of Midnight's Edge, I think should be done with it. This all obviously begun with the announcement of the release of the Snyder Cut of Justice League. In the aftermath of that, Paul Feig was asked on Twitter, can we get the @Paul Feig cut of Justice League instead? There is a lot wrong with that question. I can see why someone would want a Paul Feig parody of Justice League. I mean, what was Spy if not a Paul Feig parody of James Bond? And what was Bridesmaids if not a Paul Feig parody of The Hangover, but a Paul Feig cut of Justice League? Not a Paul Feig parody, but a Paul Feig cut? Either way, Paul Feig responded, "There's a 3.5-hour cut of Ghostbusters Answer the Call I'd be happy to share. #FeygerCut." So there you have it. He was asked a question of some kind and answered it. I'm sure he'd love to release another cut of Ghostbusters if there was sufficient demand for it that the studio was considering it. But this was seemingly said in jest. It isn't anything he is seriously trying to get off the ground. But let's entertain for the moment the notion that he did mean it seriously. Is the FeygerCut, as he called it, even real? Keep in mind, there are already 2 cuts of Paul Feig's Ghostbusters. The theatrical cut and the extended cut, which has a few more random inserts here and some alternate takes there, and most importantly, the dance sequence he pitched to Amy Pascal with great enthusiasm in the leaked Sony emails. However, filming that sequence reportedly made him cry on set. Not with joy, but because it didn't really work out, which is why it wasn't in the theatrical cut. Is there more footage left on the cutting room floor though? I somehow doubt it. If Dan Aykroyd is to be believed, Paul Feig didn't film enough scenes as it was. Here's what Aykroyd had to say.
I was really happy with the movie, but it cost too much. And Sony does not like to lose money, making it economically not feasible to do another one. So, the director, he spent too much on it, and he didn't shoot scenes we suggested to him. Several scenes that were going to be needed, and he said, no, we don't need them. And then we tested the movie, and they needed them, and he had to go back and about 30 to 40 million in reshoots. So, yeah. Wow. So he will not be back on the Sony line anytime soon.
Who knows? Maybe Feig filmed a lot of excess scenes that they didn't need, instead of the ones that they did need and had to go back and reshoot. Maybe there really is a 3.5-hour assembly cut on a hard drive somewhere with what to the audience would be all new, unseen scenes in it. However, I would be inclined to believe that pretty much every scene they filmed already is in the extended cut. The 3.5-hour assembly cut, which I guess is identical with the FeygerCut, probably consists of exactly the same scenes, but with one difference. All the improv scenes go on and never stop. Not until Feig couldn't take it anymore and yelled, "Cut." That's what I think is the difference between the extended cut and this alleged FeygerCut. I would make the educated guess that the extended cut has all the highlights of the improv, while the FeygerCut has every drawn-out, painful and cringe-worthy attempt at a joke that just didn't land. Would you like to see that? Paul Feig's Ghostbusters is special to us here at Midnight's Edge. Our Trankgate coverage is what first gave us some level of recognition within the online genre entertainment community. But it was our Ghostbusters coverage that gave us, for lack of a better term, mainstream success. That's when even reputable publications started referencing our coverage and further report everything we uncovered from the Sony hack. The way we would do it is that I would dig into WikiLeaks, do the research and write the scripts, and then hand them over to Rob, who would stare at them in shock and disbelief, before doing a great job narrating them. Rob is a great writer too. He wrote the History of AMC Theaters video that quickly descends into Tiger King territory, but I guess Ghostbusters was too painful for him. He still hasn't seen that movie. That's why, on behalf of Midnight's Edge, I declare that we support the Release the FeygerCut movement, so we can have more fun with it and host a watch party and introduce Rob to the glory that is Paul Feig's Ghostbusters, with all the jokes too cringeworthy to even be in the extended version put back into it. You see, I'm already inoculated to this movie, and seeing him squirm would be hilarious for the rest of us. So let's make the FeygerCut happen. The world needs it. Otherwise, we'll have to do our watch party with the regular extended version, and that just won't do, knowing that there is a FeygerCut out there. Would you like to see the FeygerCut? Or would you settle for having Rob see it so you don't have to? And failing that, should we settle for the extended cut for our watch party? Let me know in the comments.